So here I'm with Mark, Kent, and Bryce, and they've decided that we're going to have this treasure hunters rendezvous again, or the what are we calling this? The
gathering.
The gathering.
Or the powwow.
At Altamont, Utah. And so, Mark, Bryce, Kent, tell me a little bit. When are we going to have this? What dates? What can they expect? What do we got happening?
August 12th and 13th of 2022. We're going to the same place we did last year, the Altamont Park in Altamont, which is 20 miles or something from Moon Lake and Mountain Home. And so it's the same place. We've got a few more activities. We're going to throw some more speakers in per night. And we've got and Ken will tell you about what we're planning on Saturday day if you don't go with on one of the day trips or the hikes or go to Moon Lake.
So I know one thing that I was disappointed in our last year's one is the speakers started at a certain time and then it ended, and then because it was so late everybody left, and because I was so busy filming I didn't have time to meet and talk with people. So we're gonna have something during the day so we can get together with and meet and talk and with people during the day.
Right, and you know the thing that we kind of didn't really materialize like it did when we were doing it in Morgan was the open mic. We just didn't have the time and it didn't hook up, but the open mic is such a special thing. And so Kent, tell them about Saturday day.
All right, so it's Friday and Saturday. So Saturday, we're going to have a large picnic at the park. They have a pavilion there with picnic tables and so forth, and so we're inviting everybody that wants to come up Saturday, and this should be a lot of fun, not just because of the picnic, but this is a chance to get to visit with people, meet new friends, and hear a lot of stories that aren't going to be told in the evening when we do our main presentation. And so we'll have a PA system there. People can, if they want to talk to the picnic group, can get up and have their 15 minutes of fame, stand in a microphone so everybody can hear them. But this will go on for hours, and also they'll be meeting in small groups and just talking about everything, but a lot of things to do with treasure and the things that we're oriented towards, whether it be treasure, Bigfoot, whatever.
Artifacts.
Artifacts. People show artifacts that they found, different things. And so the picnic is something new that we have never done before, but we have done the open mic in conjunction with our evening programming, have people come up. But now our intent is to do most of that at the park between noon and 4 o'clock on Saturday, so that everybody can get a chance to talk and to meet new people and just make a day of it. And then that evening we'll move over to the other pavilion and do our main speakers.
So a picnic in the park and just kind of social gathering and get to meet and greet and talk to everybody.
That's it. And
so bring your own food, your own picnic stuff,
and this could be the highlight of our 2-day session, depending on how many people get up and share their stories. You never know, but we always expect to get at least a few good ones, and we might get a lot of good ones. You never know for sure.
So, and along with that, some people sometimes bring artifacts that you'll never get to see or hear about unless you come to one of these. So
that's exactly right. And so we're expecting that people, because it's Saturday and we're catching when most people don't have to potentially work like they might have to on Friday, but that most people shouldn't have a problem coming to the picnic on Saturday. And I think this is definitely going to be a don't miss event for this. Is don't miss the picnic starting about 12 noon and going until about 4, because there will be some great stuff going on there as far as conversation and show and tell, those kinds of things.
And that's if you don't want to go on some of the day trips, like to Moon Lake, to the lodge. We've got some stuff planned there, potentially. And last year, a bunch of them went over to the Blind Frog Ranch. We haven't got that opened up yet. we probably will. I don't know. But so this is either or type of deal. You can come with a picnic and gab and see stuff, or you can go on some of the day trips. So you can go either way.
So this area is right in the heart of where all the Spanish treasure stories come from. This is right at the bottom of the drainage for the Rock Creek, for the Moon Lake, for the Yellowstone, and there's so much Spanish treasure stories in this area man, you want to come just to go and see these areas.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a neat place. We were lucky to get it.
Bryce?
Cool. You looking at me?
Bryce, tell us, what can they expect for accommodations, for camping, because these Uintas this is a busy time of the year. People are wanting to get up into the mountains. It's beautiful up there, so places fill up fast.
They are filling up fast, and a lot of the places are already reserved. Last year we had a lot of people, and I don't even know where they stayed. You would put on your videos some information. We have that same information again to put out with all the area hotels, campgrounds, and I won't go over all of them, but if you want to get a reservation, because the Duchesne County Fair is going on at the same time, you need to get busy and reserve your either hotel or campgrounds. Now, I checked the Moon Lake campground that's run by the Forest Service. There was only 2 spots left out of 32 for the 12th and the 13th. The people that own the Moon Lake Resort, they have cabins, and we were told by them that they would block out a few cabins for us for people that were coming up to the gathering, and that information is on this flyer too that you'll put on this video. But if you're thinking about that, I don't know how soon they'll pull that down so that they can, fill that space in so they don't lose money. But they've been really, really good to us. So if you can get with them, if you want a cabin at Moon Lake, because people will be going back and forth from Moon Lake for both days. But get yourself in line and make sure you got your reservations, you have a place to stay. We will be using the little fairgrounds on the west side of Altamont. What do we have, 5 or 6 people camped there last time? There could be 100 more. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room for people if you got your RV. There are no hookups, but we did have some porta potties there. We had porta potties at the park. We had some food trucks. I'm hoping we can line those up again this year so people can use the food trucks for food if they need to.
So this is a small town. It's not like you got all the comforts of the big city. I mean, they got
a store and a little restaurant, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
Gas station.
Is out in the country.
But if you want to drive over to Bluebell, they've got a great cafe there. Oh. I think we ate all their food the last time we were up there.
I will absolutely go there this year.
But it's a great place to go and explore. And I run into all kind of people I talk to out there. And you talk about, you didn't have time to go talk to people. I wandered around, and I ran into a guy that wanted to know more about giants. I told him we weren't talking about it, but I hooked him up with Utana Jessup. But he starts telling me he's an alchemist, and he's into some beryllium crystals that were found in giant staffs. And him and I talked for an hour. It was amazing. So you run into all kind of people with all kind of different stories. But if you want to have a place, you got to get on, working on your reservations, find a place to stay, and that information will all be on this little flyer. So,
and there are, though, some kind of pull-out campgrounds. It's not run by the Forest Service or anything like that. They're free. You just pull off the side of the road and camp. A lot of times them spots are taken too, but those are available too. So
yeah, up Rock Creek, up Moon Lake, there's little places, and there's several campgrounds up there. They're all on here. Yellow Pine, Upper Stillwater, Rock Springs Camp areas, and you can go park at Starvation State Park. There's 3 or 4 others on here, but
if worse comes to worse too, there's the city of Roosevelt and Vernal, which is farther away.
And Duchesne.
Well, and then what's the other ones? Starvation's got some.
That's what I said. The Starvation Campground. It's a state park. If you got a park pass, I think you can go in. I don't know if you have to pay extra for your RV or anything that way, but there's a ton of places to stay. But like I said, they're filling up.
So for those that don't know what this gathering is, what this treasure hunters rendezvous is. It's tell us a little bit what they can expect. What's gonna be talked about? What's gonna be happening? What do you got lined up for speakers? Are you still tentatively trying to getting things up tentatively? What do we talk about? What's going on here?
So, not counting the Saturday picnic. So Friday at 5 till probably 10, approximately. We're going to have 4 speakers each night. Last year we had 3. So with the 4 speakers each night, we're covering a pretty wide. We've got treasure. We've got a lady talking about giants, and she's amazing. Who else we got, Kent? We've got a guy that owns the ranch right next to the ranch, the Skinwalker Ranch. He's coming on, I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday. We've got a couple of guys talking about a lot of that type of thing. Area 52, not 51, but 52 in Utah.
We've got, if all goes as we've got planned at this point, we've got people that are going to be there that have found Spanish treasure here in Utah. And probably we'll do a show and tell with that. You'll be able to see some of the things that have been found. We've also got as a potential that we're trying to finalize one of Butch Cassidy's nephews that's going to come and talk about Butch Cassidy and the Outlaws. He's written a couple of books on it. We've also got, to the best of my knowledge, the very first book on Skinwalker Ranch that was written on the Skinwalkers is going to be one of our speakers. Well, that's covered most of it. So some of these speakers we've got definite commitments, and some it's still a little bit iffy, and so we're trying to firm those up. And we'll make those announcements later on as we firm them up, and as our flyers come out and those kind of things. You'll know more about the speakers and that. But we have a wonderful group. We've heard pretty much nearly all of them we've heard speak before, and they're excellent speakers and have some great presentations for us.
I would tell you to go to our Facebook page. We're doing better this year than we did last year, because we did horrible last year. And it's the Gathering at Moon Lake / powwow. Stringham?
I don't know. If you just type in the Gathering, it'll take it. You won't get there?
No, it goes you all over. Gathering at Moon Lake, that'll probably get you there.
Yeah.
And we'll have some more on there on the other videos, but we're going to start putting all of this information on Facebook, and we've had quite a few people come there recently, so jump on there.
Well, and the reason it worked last year is because of Terry's videos.
Yeah.
That got out to everybody, and like I say, Mark's already posted a couple of things on the Facebook page, and people are hitting that, so you look for more information there as far as speakers and different things that are happening.
And the one thing that really surprised me last year is because of Terry, we had so many people coming from out of state. I couldn't believe it. And I mean all across the country. And I was talking to the one lady, and I says, "You just owe me one thing." "Well, what do I owe you?" I said, "Just come up and grab me, say hi when you come." And she did. It was just a heck of a lot of fun last year. It was just such a brotherhood and sisterhood, I guess. People just very friendly. Everybody's kind of on the same page and helping. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. It's a good time to be there. It really is.
And it's going to be better this year because we're having the picnic in the park thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where we can have time to actually talk with each other and just mingle and get to meet. But there's a lot of great stories in this area, and talk with some of the locals, and they'll start telling you some of the stories. And with that, Kent, man, tell me one of the stories. Tell me a story of this area, that what they can expect to hear that went on for the treasure hunting stuff.
Rock Creek, which isn't very far from where we're holding this, is one of the hot spots probably in the world for Spanish gold mining and treasure stories and those kinds of things. Most of it's on the Indian reservation. You can drive through, but you can't get out and you can't look around and that. But there's lots of good stories from the Rock Creek area. Treasure Hill's one of the good ones. I'll tell you briefly. I've been able to go off-road before with people authorized to go off-road on the reservation, and been shown some of the things. And I will mention one of the biggest massacres. There were 3 major massacres that I know of where the Indians killed the Spanish. The Indians were being enslaved by the Spanish in the mines. The biggest one that I know of, there was over 100 Spanish soldiers that were armed. They had cannons. They had their musket, well, not muskets, blunderbusses, whatever kind of weaponry. And then they had all their slaves. They had all the people that made up a mining group. And there's several professions that are required under Spanish law by the king. This group came down. They would leave seasonally. They would leave because they couldn't stay here through the harsh winters and the Uintas and that with the snow and so forth. So they would go south and come back when it got warm in the summer to do their mining. The group was leaving for the final time for winter, and as they came down, they were told there was the Indians had planned an attack. And they commented that they weren't afraid because they had so much weaponry and that they weren't afraid of the Indians, but they were attacked. Kind of a long story, but the short of it was they were attacked. There were a lot more Indians than they expected. The battle was not going well, and so they dug foxholes. I was taken out where the massacre took place. You can still see the impressions in the ground where the foxholes were. The Indians, once the foxholes were dug, and they could then hold the Indians off, but the Indians were not stupid. They backed off so that they couldn't be killed either, and they held them in their foxholes for 3 days without food and water. Then they sent an Indian down, and he told them to surrender, and about half of the Spanish surrendered. They took them up on the hillside where the ones in the foxholes could see, and they skinned them all alive. Obviously, the rest of the group would not surrender, and they stayed there and fought to the death. They killed all of them. They killed all their animals, all their peons and slaves, their padres, everybody that traveled with them were killed, and they were all buried along with all their gold bars and all their gold nuggets and flakes and everything were buried in 2 different places there in Rock Creek and that. But that's just one story. I know a lot of them in the Rock Creek area, but that's a pretty good story, and it's pretty vivid, getting in your imagination all these guys getting skinned alive out where they could see it. It would definitely leave a strong impression on you if they were asking you to surrender and you saw what happened to them, but none of them survived that massacre.
Mark, you got anything to add?
I do. So this is all free, just like last year. We are trying to find some sponsors to help us with, the porta potties in the park and different expenses, the flyers. But it's free, and we appreciate donations if we can get them. But the barbecue's free, or the picnic rather, Saturday day. The night is free. And we just love to have as many people as we can. If you've got stories, come Saturday and help us.
It's all free, but we take donations because that helps pay for everything, the porta potties, everything, all the we have
expenses. We do. And so we're just, to keep this going, we just need a little help.
You've heard people say we don't get rich doing this. We say we definitely get poor doing this.
Yeah. We could. And if it goes that way, we probably won't do it anymore.
But the real treasure, and I always say this, the real treasure is the people you get to meet.
Absolutely.
The stories you get to hear, and sometimes the artifacts that you'll get to see, that you will never have the chance to hear these stories, see these artifacts, meet these people anywhere else.
Yeah.
You want an artifact story, Terry?
Yeah.
So one of the guys coming this year, this summer, he's a good friend, and we had him, when I first met him, he came to one of our early powwows up in Morgan. And we weren't all that big then. We had 20 people. And my grandson was sitting right next to me. He was 10. And I said to him, listen, I said, you're going to see things today that most people never get to see, and I don't want you to ever forget it. So we're sitting there at this picnic table, and they're passing these little gold bars down the aisle, and he could have cared less. Moving on. But he saw a sword that was coming around. We had Spanish crosses and everything that were found, and he would look at him and go, oh yeah, whatever. And I kind of was surprised. But, a 10-year-old kid, but he saw the sword coming around, and the gold bars, nothing. The silver cross, nothing. But here, this sword just lit him up like a Christmas tree. And that guy's supposed to come. He said he will. He'll bring his stuff. He'll be there Saturday. He's going to talk, Friday or Saturday night. But
we've all seen the sword. We've all seen the gold bars.
I've seen it so many times. They're amazing. I'd say 90% chance you'll get to see them.
And that sword was found here in Utah, right?
Yes.
And
so
I know this, that we had him come and speak for our group, the Ancient Historical Research Foundation, and he would not let me video it to show everybody else. So this is something, to hear his story and see this, you got to be there.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of pressure on people that find things, and most of them are like, I'm never going to tell anybody or show anybody. So it's kind of unusual when you get people that have artifacts that will bring them to a place where a lot of people can see them.
Yeah.
But I was going to mention one other thing that we mentioned last year, and that is that we are up in the Uintas, basically. So, besides bringing your food, prepare for all kinds of weather. I mean, last year was like shirt sleeve weather most of the time.
Yeah.
But it can get cold.
It got cold at night.
Friday night it got cold. Saturday night it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you won't have a funner place going anywhere. It's that fun.
Bring your own camp chairs so that...
Bring chairs.
Bring chairs so that you have a place to sit. And how many people showed up last year, do you think?
We talked about that a lot. I think Saturday, there was around 300, I think, Saturday. Friday night was probably a few less. But we're doing better with getting the word out. We expected way more. I did. But there was quite a few people there. What states? I remember New York, Kentucky, Missouri, Washington, Oregon, New Mexico, Texas,
Idaho.
Wasn't there somebody from Hawaii too?
Hawaii, yes, Hawaii. I talked to him, and I just was blown away. I was happy, loved it. Come.
Well, and we're not professional event planners.
Yeah.
And so I thought last year was a big success. I was amazed at how many people were there and how many people just really enjoyed being there. I mean, I didn't hear anybody go, oh, I'm leaving. Or, everybody stayed Friday, Saturday.
This is no professional.
No.
This is the good old boys, and come and have fun.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this will be 23 years. So we've been around the block a few times. We've made mistakes and fixed them, and Kent and I was just talking about it. We try to keep fresh speakers every year, not to rehash the same guys all the time. And even I know we do have one guy coming back, but he's going to do a different subject. Dan Lowe's going to talk, and he's always got he's a wealth of knowledge. So,
well, and he took us up around the west side of Moon Lake last year. And I thought it was really, really interesting. And Dan's a lot better, when he's in a crowd to speak to you and stuff too.
So. Yeah, he took us on a little trip, showed the Spanish trails, some Spanish markings on trees where they figure some of the Spanish mines where they got covered up, and yeah.
I would expect to do the same this year too, but you'll miss the Saturday BS session in the park.
I'm not missing the Saturday BS because I that's what I most didn't like, is I did not have time to meet with the people because I was so busy trying. It was a short amount of time. The speakers were speaking, and I was trying to film and record. I just want to meet the people. So
You missed some good ones too in the small groups, and there was some pretty cool stuff last year.
What kind of stories did you hear in some of these small groups?
The one I liked the best, there was a gentleman there that had been out hunting, I think, but he was just walking along just about the year before and almost stepped on a man's face and stopped, and he dug it up, but there was a human head made out of clay, about just a little bit smaller than real size. Pretty good size in that it was broken into a lot of pieces, parts of it, and over a year's time, he still hadn't got it all put back together as a puzzle, but it got the face all back together and most of the back of the head and that. But it was nearly normal human size male, probably European, probably very old.
Probably a Spanish priest or something like that.
Something like that. He had well-trimmed beard and mustache and that. He had a tunic on. It was just the bust, but you could see that he had layered clothing, very high-class clothing, like a tunic over shirt and those kinds of things, and very well-groomed.
You could see at one time he had a beard on, but the beard was broken off, and
it was a short beard like this, like ours, and so that was all. By the time he pieced it all back together, the face was pretty much complete. It was in good shape, and there were just holes in the back of the head. But he had a box there full of the pieces that he was still working on to finish this back together. But there were just a handful of us that got to see that. But that was there at the park during the middle of the day, and we hope to make that where more people can see those kinds of things if the people are there at the park. That's why we're doing it, because otherwise people just congregate in the evening for the speakers. We're trying to get them there at the park where they can visit and where they can share things like that.
Well, and you guys got to see it, but later he had it behind the pavilion, and a lot of people got to see it.
Okay.
So it was interesting, because I wasn't with him, but I stumbled across the crowd, and I got to see it too. It was pretty interesting.
anything else?
I got one more. We'll keep you going here too long, Terry. So I stayed at the fairgrounds, which isn't nice, but it was just fun because you circle the wagons, and you're with people. And there was a couple of guys over from us in doing the same thing. So we went over and talked to them. And, yeah, we're here for the powwow. Oh, yeah, well, good to see you. And they came Friday night, and then they heard from somebody at the dang powwow that there was a Bigfoot, I don't know, nest or what do you call it, Kent? What do they call those when the trees are bent over and stuff?
I don't know.
Whatever. But it was a Bigfoot thing, and they're thinking, Saturday, go to the powwow, go to there. So they went to up in the Uintas, hiked in to find this powwow or this Bigfoot place, dwelling, and they never made it back to our thing. So and then we were just sitting there in the campground, and this lady comes up, middle-aged lady, in her four-wheeler, and she stops. What are all you guys doing? And so we told her, oh yeah. And so she starts talking to us, and she's a big horse lady. She was the lady I turned you on to.
Oh yeah, Cindy.
Yes, and she was telling us, what was it, Terry? She had found an old
cabin.
Yeah. So you're just getting it from every angle. It's just a blast. If you like this kind of stuff, this is like heaven.
Well, and the people that went over to Blind Frog, a lot of them got out and they let you go clear around. I mean, there was people down in the water that I wouldn't have done, but up above the hole with the water in it, you could go up there, and they told you could find Indian beads, and a lot of people, they're just tiny. But
Chanel found a bunch.
Chanel, I think Utana found some, and I thought, I'm too old to climb up that hill. But people found these little beads, and they were saying that if you found a red one, it was special. And I can't remember because they had to mix something.
It's got gold in it.
It's got gold in it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that turned them red. But I mean, a lot of people hiked around up there. I mean, they took us on a place where you could see some markings in the sandstone, and maybe a place where the Indians had stayed, or somebody had stayed just up against the little cave in the side of the mountain. But I mean, and we weren't escorted by a guide or anything, because is it Dwayne that runs a place? He was supposed to be there. He owns it, but he was supposed to be there, and some other people, but nobody were really there. I got my metal detector out, and because they'd found some Spanish coins up there, and I didn't find anything, just some hunks of metal here and there. But we were up there for a couple of hours.
So I don't know if we'll have the connections that we can go up there on there or not, because now they give tours. They charge money to give tours to go there. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that. We'll try and work some magic. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because
we have some tight connections there, and you're one of them.
So that's the interesting thing, is we're not that far from Blind Frog Ranch. There's a big show on the Discovery Channel, and Skinwalker Ranch, which is a big show on the History Channel. We're not far from these areas, and there's a lot of Spanish things in between, and things, Bigfoot, all kinds of things. So
bring your telescope. What happened last year? Wasn't there some light or something they were talking about?
The one I sent it around?
Yeah, the one you sent around over by Skinwalker that was shining up in the sky, and people had seen it. And
maybe I'll send you that, and you can see it. I'll send it to you, Terry.
Okay.
But there was a lot of talk floating around with just different weird things happening up there. So
another comment is that most of the things that you'll see at the gathering at Moon Lake, you can't see anywhere else, nowhere else. So if you don't come, you'll just miss out. You missed it, and we'll be sad that you weren't there. But for those people that can make it, you'll see things you can never see anywhere.
And talk to people.
Well, and you'll come and meet Terry, because he's getting so famous from this stuff. Yeah, he might be too big for us.
It's you guys that are famous. Me,
oh, please.
I'm just the guy behind the camera.
Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully on our Facebook you'll be able to have some back and forth with us easier than last year. So we were figuring it out because we'd never gone to a remote site. We'd always done it right close to home. So go to the Facebook and we'll have a lot on there this year. Guaranteed we will.
Yeah, and we're definitely not like tech guys, so.
One more thing, we're planning on doing some updates as we get closer with Terry, and so go back to his channel and watch for updates as we get closer, and then we'll also have flyers. Last year, with the 200 to 300 people that we had there, we asked raise of hands, and we had far more people from the Wasatch Front than we did even from the Basin, and we had quite a few people from out of state. We were contacted from people from other countries and that, although I don't know that we had any of them show up, but we did have contact people that wanted to come from multiple other countries and that. So this is a big thing for a lot of people, and we get quizzed down all year long.
In the radio.
People wanting to know if we're going to do it again.
Well, and we had people come from Vernal that would come and go back every night too. So I mean, that's 60 miles back and forth every night. So one of our speakers was from there.
I might also mention that my wife and I stayed at the Best Western in Duchesne last year, and as I was passing the front desk a few times, there were lines of people trying to get rooms, and they were sold out. So again, all the housing, any place that you can stay is going to book up. You're best if you can get something arranged and guaranteed now, rather than trying to find a place that's on a first come first served basis on campgrounds, or if you're just going to try to drive into a town and get a hotel room, you may not get anything. You need to get reservations if you can, and figure things out now.
Well, and there are VRBO, and what's the other? Airbnb. There are a lot of those out in Duchesne area, And I looked at some last year and they slept like 7, 8, 9, 10 people. But if you got a big group, the cost is a lot less if you split it up, and then you got a kitchen and you got bedrooms and bathrooms, and there's, you know, like Falcon Ridge. There's a lot of ranches out there that you can stay at. They're a little pricey, but yeah, there's places to stay, but you're going to have to dig to find them.
And the fairgrounds is free.
Fairgrounds is free.
That's if you bring in your RV or your trailer. Also, I talked with the Moon Lake Lodge, and they have the cabins there. When I talked to them a week ago, they still had cabins available. The smallest cabin they have will sleep 4 people. That's the smallest one that they have. They do have their own little kitchenettes and bathrooms and that. But those things will book up fast also. And so as of a week ago, there were still some of those left. The bed and breakfast at Mountain Home all the rooms are gone there. So, and all the motel
And we haven't
rooms.
checked with the Rock Creek Lodge, huh?
I haven't, but they're through recreation.gov too, so a lot of their stuff. And so last year we were kind of the same situation with them. I can't remember the guy's name. I've got it written down on that thing, and I got his number. But they were filled up very fast also. And we had talked to him about making some space for RVs. He doesn't have a whole lot of space up there, but he was going to make some just for us.
And you need to really mention us.
Yeah, if you call the Moon Lake Resort up there, definitely say you're with the gathering, because they have set aside like 10.
Well, and they got 2 teepees this year.
Oh, and they got teepees you can stay in, kind of the glamping thing.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. So, and they said they might have actually put more teepees up, but that's Greg and Yvonne Gardner. And like I say, they have been just amazing to us last year and this year.
They're part of this whole
thing. So, but just, wherever you go, mention you're with the gathering. And I would say, you know, don't give up, because a lot of people get rooms and then they cancel.
Yeah.
So, you know, just call them all the time.
Yeah, I ended up being able to get one of the cabins up at Moon Lake because somebody canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give up.
Well, it's supposed to be quite a few places, right, Terry, on the way up there that
just
you can
off
stay
the sides
free.
of the roads,
But stay off of tribal land. Don't be messing with that.
Do not go on Indian land, no.
Don't do it. Just don't even do it.
We have friends that might be able to, that know the people that run the Ute tribe, and they may be able to find you a good attorney, but it's still going to cost you some money. You might be sitting in the Duchesne County Jail for a while.
Don't be messing with that stuff.
And if you're going to do that, don't bring your nicest pickup, because they'll own it.
Yeah. That's all I got, Terry.
That a wrap?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, man. With that, we'll have more information coming as time gets closer. But man, hope to see everybody there. And this year, I'm going to make time to meet everybody, because last year I couldn't do that. But at the picnic in the park, I'm going to meet everybody. So
sweet.
Me too.
And with that said, man, that's our wrap.